But when Martin Luther posted his 95 Theses on that church door, he really let the cat out of the bag. Because now there's a whole host of people eager to tell the Catholic Church how it is fucked up. But what does this all have to do with grace? Come on, I'll show you. Now, when Martin Luther posted his critique of the church, that was just the beginning. Now, we've already talked about the Anabaptists and seen how being against something like infant baptism can ultimately lead to the hour of pain. Taking over cities to make way for the return of Christ was seen as a bit extreme. Enter a guy named Zwingli, later to be followed by a guy named Calvin. And they're going to be on the more Martin Luther end of the spectrum. It essentially says a lot of what the church is doing is simply unnecessary. It, like all man-made systems, has gotten overly complicated, and in so doing has lost the forest through the trees. For their part, the church had gotten way too caught up in ritual, because at its heart, ritual is tied to earthly acts, which by their very nature are impure, and therefore can they really be considered good works? And yet we think these acts are going to somehow get us into heaven, or keep us out. And the idea that you might be able to work your way into heaven seems prideful. Instead, if we are saved by God and go to heaven, it's not by anything that we've done. Instead, it's through something called grace. Can't earn it, can't be asked for, has to be given. And who has grace, you might ask? Don't ask stupid fucking questions. That's not information for us to know. We'll figure that out on the day of judgment. Okay, that makes sense. So I just have to have faith that believing in God and doing the right thing will be what he wants. Yes, I mean, that could work in theory, but you never know. Wait, so even if I live a good life and believe in God and go to church every Sunday, I still might not get into heaven? Well, I mean, maybe, but that's not for us to decide. That's the big man's call. See, it's a little something called predetermination. Before you or anybody else is born, God has already decided if they are going to heaven or hell. And there's nothing that they can do to change that. It has been predetermined for them. Wait, so if God has already determined if I'm going to heaven or not, there's really nothing I can do to change that. I think you're starting to understand. So then why do I need to do things like go to church and be a good person? Don't be stupid. Do you think people that don't go to church and aren't good people make it to heaven? It seems to be like the bare minimum. No, you still have to do those things and hope they are enough to get you into heaven. God already decided. But then didn't he already decide if I was going to do the right things or not? Making the idea of free will an illusion? Shut up, not everybody is going to agree with this theology. However, we do have some hints in this lifetime of whether or not you have grace. For example, if you do really well in business, it's probably a good indication that you are favored by God. If you've got a nice family, a nice house, you drive a nice car, all of these are clues that God likes you. And you shouldn't spend this money making a pretty church because that's not impressive to God. Keep your churches simple. Focus on the message at hand. Making sure that you're doing all the right things to be one of those blessed. And there'll be signs along the way that you're on the right path. It honestly makes for the perfect prosperity gospel. I don't want your money, it's the root of all evil. But also it is a sign of God's favor, so I guess I'll have to take it. The more money I have, the more of God's favor that comes with it. Don't get mad at me for being more righteous than you. Also no singing at church. I sure bet this won't catch on with a huge percentage of the European population become a bedrock of American theology. Why did everyone have so much beef with the church? To answer that question, we'll need to go all the way back to the Black Plague. Till next time.